Don't y'all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy?
I'm hopeful that we will enter a period of bipartisan, effective working together.
And we're going to have to work together.
The mask is off. Turns out, I was seeing what they were saying on CNN.
Yeah.
It turns out the left didn't actually believe. Remember we were told that Donald Trump was Hitler? Remember we were told that Donald Trump was going to be a dictator?
Yep.
Well, it turns out now they don't actually believe that. I don't know about you, and really, if you can comment, I've been watching the news program, especially Sunday. It almost felt like we went back to Bush Senior Clinton. It almost felt like Clinton Dole. Where I'm going, well, now, hold on a second. What about all the rhetoric of people in internment camps? What about all the rhetoric of Hitler? They're just talking about the electoral map and strategy from Democrats. It's just gone back. They want it to go back to politics as usual, as though they didn't label well over half the country fascist dictator supporters. Have you noticed that? Comment below. That's what I've seen. And I think it's just because there's no good way for them to handle what they said and what they did, and you can't let them forget. For those of you who may not remember, well, here's a montage of how many times we heard about Donald Trump just in the last few days of the campaign. He'd be a dictator.
He said his first day he wants to be a dictator.
Donald Trump makes it clear. He wants all that power to come to him. He wants to be a dictator.
You've got Donald Trump, who is only about himself, who is a convicted felon many times over, who acts like a wannabe tyrant and dictator.
Abuser, the rapist, the dictator, and the misogynist. I can go on and on. That is Donald Trump.
He wants to be a dictator, but just on day one.
He said he'd be a dictator on day one.
And he said that he would be a dictator on day one.
What was that weird top hat and neck scarf vote?
I think that was Friday Adams.
Yes.
You know, down there by Debo. And, yeah, there we go. Now with Craig and Debo, she's breaking up the fight, you know?
It's like boy, girl, they, George.
Looks like Jada Blackett. Looks like the new Quaker model. Yeah. They're like, we took Aunt Jemima, now you can have Quaker. What does a Quaker mean? Oh, shit!
And but this one, dictator. Here we are now, where even Charlemagne, the God, they've all changed their rhetoric, a much friendlier tone with Donald Trump.
Don't y'all find it strange that now that he's won, they're not calling him a threat to democracy? They're not calling him a fascist. And I would think that, you know, if you really believe that, then somebody's speech would be about how America effed up and how things are about to be really bad.
He's the most powerful man in the world now.
Well, it just makes you wonder how much of it did they really believe, or how much of it was just politics.
Do you wonder?
It's pretty clear that the American people want Democrats and Republicans to work together.
You know, as somebody who cares about this country, I'm hopeful that we will enter a period of bipartisan, effective working together.
And we're going to have to work together.
I hope we can get back to some modicum of sanity and bipartisanship.
Look, I think that the Democrats and the Republicans are going to have to figure out a way to work together.
Now, I don't know if you know this, that's not how you behave when a real dictator ascends to power. Let me give you some examples for those of you who may not be history buffs. Like, I don't know, like the Soviet Union, okay? When Stalin gave a speech, people clapped for 11 minutes. And no one wanted to be the first person to stop clapping because said first person was put in prison for 10 years. The first person who stopped clapping at Stalin's speech got 10 years in prison. And for reference, it was this guy. So really, it's just not.
Wow.
He got the short end.
How's he gonna? I mean, he can't even clap. The poor guy's got a hook.
Well, he stopped. Wow.
So. Please.
I can't do it.
Please. No. I don't hear enough one hook clapping.
That's insane. That was real. The guy got freaking sent.
The guy got sent to prison for 10 years for being the first one to stop clapping.
He got a year for every minute he didn't clap.
I know.
It's like when your coach used to make you do wall squats, and whoever lost first, instead of push-ups, you are raped in a gulag for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
That's not. He might have been doing the raping.
He could be. I don't know. Hook comes in handy.
Handy. Hey, that's a nice one.
Cuba. Let's go to Cuba. A man who criticized Fidel Castro after Fidel Castro died, he received 3 years in jail.
What?
China. This isn't even that long ago. Xi Jinping. He just disappeared. The billionaire who founded Alibaba. Remember Jack Ma? For 3 months after he criticized the government. Think about that. A billionaire It's kind of like, the, I guess, lesser part of the world. Yeah, lesser part of the world. Amazon, Alibaba, for those of you who don't really know. Billionaire. Guy who founded it. Gone.
I'm sure he's willing to talk about where he went.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
North Korea?
Corrected.
Man was executed for distributing K-pop. They get some things right.
Well, right, yeah.
And then, by the way, going back to the clapping, when Kim Jong-il died, and I actually got in trouble, reprimanded on Fox News. I said the entire nation deserves a Razzie Award. The public grief that had to take place, because if you did not show grief, of course, you also would disappear. For proof, this is how sad everybody was that Kim Jong-il died clearly. No Asians can act. There are no exceptions.
We're back to that.
That is, come on. Jackie Chan kills it, dude.
Yeah, he
Also,
does.
research chimed in and said that Jack Ma lost more than half his wealth during that criticism of China. He was China's richest person.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I got put in his place.
That's like if somebody called for the government to cancel all of one of our billionaires' contract. Oh.
Exactly, or maybe denied him a contract in California because of how he posted on X. Weird.
Do you think that anyone on the left actually believed at any point that Donald Trump was a dictator? Let me ask you this. Do you think anyone on the left is afraid of being removed from social media, as you saw happen under the Biden administration? Do you generally think that anyone there is afraid? Also, do you think that Xi Jinping was testing that guy afterwards, the Jack Ma, to make sure that he would, put on, a Jordan Peterson jacket? You like my new jacket? Do you have any improvements? Any criticism? No? Okay.
I'm not sure, Winnie the Pooh. Let me think about it.
It's a full color.
Yeah.
Do you think I need more color or less color?
I'm going for you, Don Cherry look. Huh? You like? I think you like. And by the way, Donald Trump, there was a campaign on this, and there's the winner, Nick DiPaolo. His new press secretary is getting ahead of the dictator talk by highlighting said tyranny abroad.
The president had some really harsh words for North Korea. He said no regime has oppressed its own citizens more brutally than North Korea. Why is he now downplaying North Korea's horrific atrocities?
Because you're upplaying him. I didn't know he was downplaying him. I got to be honest with you. I know I'm a spokesman, but I don't follow him around, 24/7, and I don't watch. Apparently, I can't watch all this shit. I was watching The Masked Singer. John Cena was The Masked Singer. You believe that? What was the question?
Why is he now downplaying North Korea's horrific atrocities?
I don't know that he's playing it down. We all know what North Korea stands for, and like I said, it's better to have some relationship than you got to be friends with your. Keep your enemies close, right? Keep your mother closer. What is it? Keep your friends close. You keep your enemies closer. So that's how we handle that, and why we're pretending to like that midget. You ever seen him in real life? He's the size of a Flintstone chewable.
Again, show Nick DiPaolo you love him. You can watch him today, 5 p.m. Eastern. Just click that button. Join Rumble Premium. It's the show that you will never see on late night television and shouldn't. But you can watch it here. Here's the thing. Not only is Donald Trump not a dictator, but I do, if you are going to actually make the case for fascist tendencies. When I tell you this, I mean it. All the performance art, take that out of the equation. We have had so many meetings here with lawyers, and we have had to have so many phone calls with people at Google and YouTube, and even in the past with Facebook and Twitter before Elon Musk, where we knew that we were removed. I mean, I don't know if you know that, but $3 million in annual revenue completely gone because of the Vox apocalypse was a big deal. Being completely suspended so that we could not broadcast a midterm election was a big deal. The whole reason for the transition to Rumble and Rumble Premium is out of necessity because it was a witch hunt on big tech. That's what we experienced. They created a department to enforce it under Biden-Harris. I guarantee you, the left, do you know how I know the left is not concerned about it? Because they're starting a movement about poisoning their Trump voting husbands. I don't know if we have to be careful if we do a Photoshop or a joke about someone blowing themselves up, for example, on something like that. We would have to worry on YouTube and Google, maybe not as much now, if we did a sketch about one of the Matka assailants, poisoning their husband, accidentally poisoning themselves. If we made a joke about that, we would get removed.
Yes.
If you want to talk about totalitarian, it would be funny. Let's write it down. Johnny boy.
I love it.
We've always had to tiptoe and walk around landmines. What do we have as far as proof of fascist behavior with the Biden administration? Well, you have the Twitter files where we know that the administration was colluding with big tech to censor speech, including the Hunter Biden laptop story, which was direct. It not only involved the son of the president-elect at that point, it involved his direct corrupt dealings. I don't know how much worse it gets. Joe Rogan on Spotify, you had the famous Jen Psaki press conference where she said that she was hoping Spotify would remove Rogan and would enforce misinformation over ivermectin when the administration was calling it horse paste. Remember that? No threat to CNN, who digitally altered Joe Rogan's videos and statements to try and malign him. He had the Great Barrington Declaration. Remember that? Doctors were censored for opposing COVID lockdowns and opposing the science. Remember, you were removed if you questioned the origin of the Wuhan lab, right? The virus, that maybe it didn't come from a wet market. Again, we had the Vox adpocalypse like we discussed here, where if you discussed anything conservative, even if you didn't violate policies, they created entirely new policies. You had people from January 6th who, I'm not talking about people who committed vandalism or trespass, people who were invited in to the Capitol and on camera said, we have to remain peaceful, and did nothing more than take a walking tour that was availed to them in prison for months. Anyone out there afraid of that? Anyone out there genuinely? Do you think anyone on the left right now is afraid that if they post, I'm going to say tweet, but if they post on X something critical of Donald Trump, that they're going to end up in jail? Do you think there are any leftist creators right now on YouTube who are afraid of entirely losing their income, of losing their reach that they've built up? Genuine question. Is anyone out there on the left afraid of it? If so, you know what? Let's have one on. Let's have some leftists on to air their grievances. I'd like to do that the next couple of weeks. Not just anyone with a Twitter egg, but I'm not buying it. Hey, if you like this video, you can comment below. We always appreciate your feedback. Or click one of these, which will be similar as far as rebuttals, claims, truths. Maybe it changed my mind. Or sometimes we talk about the difference between men and women, how dogs are different from cats, airline food. No punchline, just premises, because this is the internet in the 21st damn century.